All right, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for joining me today to 3 Secrets to More Richness and Radiance in Your Life and Business. I invite you to say hello or chat, put a comment or any questions in your chat in the chat box there on the right-hand side, as I'd love to, I'll try to honor that and answer those questions as we can. So let's go ahead and get started here, because I don't want to take up any more time than I have to, because I know we're all busy, and I'm going to try to get this webinar done in under an hour. So I really appreciate your time, and let's go ahead and start with who this is for. So let me just get here. Okay, great. So this is for you. I'm so glad you're here. If you are struggling with money and you wish you had more, I'm not glad that you're struggling with money, but I'm glad that you're here. So wish that you had more money in your life. You may be working way too hard for too little results, or you can't get to the next level of success in your business, yet you know that there's something holding you back from reaching that because you know you should be there. You may be showing up as a man in your business, and by this I mean you're really over-efforting and you're forcing to make things happen. So today what we're going to cover is I'm going to show you how you can activate your feminine essence to show up more powerfully and bring more balance and serenity into your business. We're also going to talk about how to activate your truth detector so that you have greater clarity and direction in your business. And we're also going to learn how to turn up your radiance factor to attract the attention you desire. We're also going to work with improving your relationship with money. We're also going to talk about what keeps you playing small and not earning the income you desire, and it goes way beyond your limiting beliefs. So I really want to encourage you to stick around to the very end of this program, because at the end I'm going to share with you the #1 easiest way to activate your radiance anytime, any place, so you can light up a room and turn people's head when you walk in. And this will definitely have your clients more eager to work with you. And I'm also going to offer you a free gift worth over $200 that will guarantee you a new way of looking at yourself and your business. So this is for you if you're really frustrated with your relationship with money, and you may be showing up as a man in your business. And what do I mean by that? But do you feel that you are trying to compete with other business owners or entrepreneurs, or that there's this competition that you need to win out on? Do you feel that you have to force to make things happen in your business? Do you work really hard to get yourself out there and be known? Do you push your work and services on other people? Do you pressure them into saying yes or working with you? These are all very masculine ways of doing and running your business, and I'm going to show you a whole new way that's so much more fun. So this is also for you if you're not earning your highest potential, and you may be experiencing blocks around receiving more money, clients, or success. Well, how do you know if you're blocking your receiving ability? Some of you may have read my free ebook, Are You Open to Receive? And in there I talk about the 3 ways you know is that if you're not able to receive a compliment well, if you feel guilty taking a gift from someone, or if someone does something nice for you, you automatically think about how you can repay them back. And what that does is that all limits your ability to just receive. You may be able to accept some things in a little bit, but to fully be able to bring it deep in into your being, it's a lot of people are really limited in that ability to fully deeply receive. Women in general are just bad receivers, and we're going to learn how to shift this in this webinar. So I'm excited you're here. And this is also for you if you're missing that inner spark or glow of joy and happiness. You know, we all get into this business because we want to share our passions, our desires with people, and yet the business end of things can really bog us down. And so learning how to do your business in a whole new way, we can get back to that joy and happiness and the real reason you got into doing this business in the first place. This is also for you if you're feeling out of alignment with your authentic self and fulfilling your destiny. You know there's something more you should be doing, or you're doing work that really isn't inspiring you at all, but you know something just feels off. So the worst thing that I see happening for women entrepreneurs is that they're really holding themselves back from greater success. and you don't know how to put yourself out there in a bigger way, and you're blocking your power and ability to receive. And the issue really here is that you're lacking an inner connection to your pelvis. And because the pelvis, in my world, the pelvis really is the foundation of your business. And when you're connected to this pelvic space, you have a much more solid energetic foundation to grow your business on. You also have greater balance and ease and flow when you're connected here. And you can own your power in a way that doesn't scare people away, but actually draws them to you. And when you're connected to your pelvis, you're more open to receive more clients, money, ease, grace, success in your business. And you also know how to increase your energetic money capacity. And you also have access to your truth detector. So when you are connected here and you're living from this pelvic space, you exude a radiance that has people wanting to work with you, and you have the ability to really hold and attract more money and client success in your life and business. It really is a whole new, really juicy way of working in your business. So we're going to talk about the 3 secrets to more richness and radiance in your life and business. And we're going to learn how to live a much more rich lifestyle that includes, but yet goes far beyond money. And then we're also going to learn how to be more radiant in your life and business. And when you get this, you're going to have a much happier relationship with yourself and with money. And you're going to exude a power and a confidence and a radiance in how you show up in your business that will really have your ideal clients eager to work with you. But why should you listen to me? My name is Lynn Schulte, and I am a women's health physical therapist. I've been one for over 25 years. I have owned 2 successful PT practices, and I've been working with women for over 25 years. And I've been helping them connect into the power of their pelvis. And women kept telling me that I was changing their life. And I actually found the same thing happened in my life as well. That when I connected into my pelvic space, I really found my truth, and that really changed my life. And I discovered a whole true, authentic power within me that now has me doing my divine purpose in my work. So when I started connecting into my pelvic space and working with it, I started to realize that my marriage wasn't working for me anymore. And while everything was looking great on the outside, we were getting along, we were friends and everything, but on another level, it just wasn't right. And I really struggled with this for a couple of years. I avoided doing anything about it. But after many, many tears and this feeling just not going away because I was accessing my truth, I made the extremely hard decision to end my marriage. I really struggled I didn't want to break up my family, but the truth just won out. And so here's a picture of my 2 boys and my little doggy. Sorry, this is a vertical picture. I didn't have an up and a horizontal picture to show you, so you can just barely see my little doggy there. But since I have ended my marriage, I have to say that I really see why it needed to happen, because I discovered just how much I had really lost of myself in my marriage. And now that I'm on my own and I'm rediscovering this whole new part of me that really got lost in being a mom and a wife and everything. And I am showing up so much more powerfully, and I'm really claiming my whole fullness and power of who I am, and it really feels so great. And so with my PT practice, I've been able to support my boys, but I was really struggling because I wasn't able to help put anything away for college or retirement. And so I knew I needed to do something. And there was this nudge inside of me that kept saying that I needed to do something more. I needed to do something bigger. But I didn't know what that was. And my name of my practice is Intuitive Hands Physical Therapy. And Intuitive Hands is so appropriate because I have to have my hands on people to work with them. So I thought. And so I was like, I'm supposed to get bigger, but how am I supposed to get bigger if I have to have my hands on everybody I work with? I just wasn't getting it. And I tried to ignore that nudge, but it wouldn't go away. And so, this connecting into my pelvic space, while it shifted my personal life, it also shifted my professional life as well, because I feel like by tapping into this area, I really got guided and directed to take this program, take this course. And I learned about how to re-imprint our birth patterns. And that really changed it all for me. I went to this training, and we were learning how to work with the birth imprints. And I knew that I was born breech, but I didn't know how I actually came out of the womb. I didn't know if I came out butt first or feet first. And so I'm laying on the table reprocessing my birth, and my left knee just got drawn up into my chest. And my right leg was sticking out straight like an arrow out in front of me. And as I laid on that table, I realized, oh my goodness, this is so indicative of how I am in my work. The right side is our masculine. That's about putting our work out there. And the left side is the feminine. It's about receiving and bringing in. And this posturing was like having one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. And I realized there was a couple of ways, big ways, that this showed up in my work. I was trying to put myself out there. I actually wrote an article that got published in the Midwifery Today magazine. And I was so excited when I got the hard copy of this magazine, and I read my article, and then my heart just sank, because I looked on my bio and the about, the author, and I had put no contact information. I didn't put an email address, a website, phone number, nothing, just my name and my practice. So I was really making it hard for people to reach out to me. And I did the same thing with a YouTube video that I put on the web 4 years ago. And it's all about how to massage your C-section scar. And that video has gotten over 127,000 hits. And the thing is that when I put it on there, I didn't know how to, I put my website at the end of the video, but I didn't put it on the description of the video. So I, again, made it really hard for people to find me, because at the end of the video just goes away. So it's not like my website stays out there for people to really contact me. And so those were just ways that I had really held myself back in an unconscious, subconscious sort of way. Well, when I worked on re-imprinting and bringing the energy down so both of my feet could come on out, I connected into an energy that was this energy of expansiveness that was beyond anything I had ever felt or discovered before. It was simply amazing, and it really changed everything for me. After I imprinted that birth, I realized that I could actually work with people long distance, and I can sense and feel in their pelvis what's going on with them and help them to learn to shift and work with that energy. And so I was able to start an online group, a couple of different online group programs that was helping me to better leverage my time. And it actually grew my business. It's been the most successful that it's ever been. And I'm currently making 6 figures in my practice and with my business. And I am so excited. The other great thing that's happened since I've re-imprinted is that situations and opportunities are just falling in my lap. And to really help me get out there. I had one client come to see me, and I rarely ask people what they do for work, but I did with this gal, and she's like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur. I work with small businesses to help them get their videos out on the internet. And she goes, hey, can we do a free video for you? And we'll even pay for the advertising for you to advertise your business, and you just let us know how it goes. And I'm like, sure. So that was just one of the great things that have happened to me, and they continue to happen. And the other thing that I feel like has happened is that I'm really able to listen more deeply to my soul and really following her guidance, and it really hasn't steered me wrong. And I'm doing work with women that is truly my divine purpose and calling, and I feel so much more fulfilled in doing my work than I have ever been before. My life is so rich with work that I love, family and friends that I have a deep, beautiful connection with, and I just love my life. And I so would love you to be able to say the same thing. I hope you can, but if you can't, it is such an amazing thing. And it's not only about me. There's other clients that I've worked with that has had great success with connecting into their pelvic space. This is Linda, and Linda was already making six figures when we started working together. But she came to me and she said, Lynn, if I would like to double my business this year, but I cannot do it in the same way that I did it last year. It'll kill me. So she knew she was out of balance and really needed to do this work. And she even says, like, the work sounded a little weird, but a little out there, but she's like, oh, what do I have to lose? Her pelvis, when we started working together, was so out of balance. Her feminine energy was on strike, and her masculine was so overworking. And her energetic money container was actually a thimble. And so even though she's making six figures, she barely felt like she was making anything more than what she had previously, because it just felt like it was all going away. Well, after rebalancing her pelvis and opening up that pelvic space, she brought in $75,000 in 1 month. That's the power of working with this area. And it's not just Linda, it's happening with other clients too. This is Stacey. She's an acupuncturist I worked with. And Stacey, after connecting into her pelvis and really owning her work and her power, was able to increase her prices 60% in a field that she felt was already saturated with other acupuncturists. And you know what happened is her business actually increased. And other women's have taken my program too, and they've had some amazing different results as well. Some women have healed low back pains and pelvic pains that they've had for years. They're showing up a whole new way in relationships. They're finding that they need to quit some work so that they can really work and keep more focused on what the work is that they're really supposed to be doing. It's amazing the benefits that come from working with and connecting into your pelvic space. So this connection into this magical space of your pelvis, when you really get it and you work with this energy that is there, you can create a life and a business that you really want, that serves your higher self, because you know more of what you really want. And when you release the blocks that hold you back and you access this power that's truly yours, you show up in a much more empowered way. And people respond to you differently. They become much more fascinated with you. And you're more connected to yourself so that you can be more connected more deeply to your friends and families and partner. And so the big question is, how are you showing up in your business? Is your foundation supporting you or not? And by your foundation, I mean that energetic foundation of your pelvis. Is that supporting you or not? And so let's jump into the 3 secrets that help you have greater richness and radiance in your life and business. And the first key is that your richness and radiance really lies in your pelvis. And so I'm going to go back there. Your pelvis is the foundation of your life and business, I have found. And the reason you might not be as rich and radiant as you like is because your pelvis is actually a storage house for all your unprocessed emotion, traumas, and events that's happened to you in your life. All of it's being held in this space, and it creates a lack of clarity, maybe even confusion, and it really dims your radiance. When you're able to clear some of that stuff out and really connect in fully into your pelvic space, it can act as your truth detector. I've seen this over and over again in my clients that I've worked with, that when they connect into this area, they find what's really their truth, what really they should be doing. And it happens all the time. But yet so many women aren't living or connected to this space. Because of maybe some of the events that have happened to them in their lives, they may have abandoned this space. And when we don't feel safe from something happening to us, we tend to leave our pelvic space in an attempt to help protect us. We're thinking that we're protecting ourselves by leaving the space. But in reality, what happens is that it leaves you more unguarded. So when you're present in your pelvic space, you get to decide what comes in or not into this space. And so you can protect yourself more by having more connection and being present in this area. Yet so many women aren't living from this space. But when you do, you show up more powerfully, more confidently, and more authentically as you. So your bowl, your pelvic bowl, shows you what needs attention in your life. So let's do a little visualization and see what your bowl looks like. I invite you to really allow your imagination to run wild here. Just give it permission to see what is there and not what you hope might be there. What's this bowl? What does your bowl look like? What is it made of? What's the shape of your bowl? Where do you get drawn into your bowl? So just close your eyes and just bring your attention and awareness down into your pelvic space. Does that bowl sit level in this area? And are the walls deep, or are they shallow? Are they thin or thick? One client I worked with had a really long oblong shaped bowl in there with really narrow walls, hardly any wall at all. And she said, yes, it holds a lot, because our pelvic bowl actually represents how much we're able to hold in our life. And so hers was able to hold a lot. But what was happening for her in her life was that she was easily influenced by other people, and easily the energies around her affected her greatly. And so it kind of threw her off track in a way. And so that made sense to me with the kind of bowl that she was working with, because it had no depth to it. It was pretty shallow. And when we worked with modeling her bowl, she was able to deepen her bowl, and it looked like a gourd to her with really thick walls around, and she was really able to inhabit it. And then she wasn't as influenced by other people. I really talk about, when you inhabit a deep bowl in your pelvis, you can become the eye of the storm. Anything and everything that goes on around you doesn't affect you as much. So your bowl really shows you how you're being in the world. And I talked about how big is your bowl, because this is the energetic container for what you're able to hold in your business. And what happens is that your bowl, the visual of your bowl, changes for different aspects of your life. So when you tap into a money bowl, it will be totally different than what your business looks like versus what your relationships look like. And so depending on what you're working with, you can access the different bowls and say, okay, so I invite you to just see, what does your money bowl look like? And remember my one client who started out with a thimble for her money bowl, and now she's making $75,000 a month. So just see what shows up for you. Where do you get drawn in your bowl? And that can tell you different things about your life. I want you to see, how is the energy in your bowl? Is your bowl crowded, or is it clear? Is your energy chaotic? Is it cloudy, or is it clear? What we really want is a peaceful energy in our bowl. And without this clear connection in your bowl, you have less radiance, less power, less direction in your life. So let's clear it up. We're going to do an exercise here. I love this exercise. This is something that you can do anytime, any place. Wonderful to do every day. Right before you go to bed, you can just sweep out all the events that have happened to you in your day. And what we're going to do is, you're going to imagine yourself being a small, tiny little being, and you're going to stand on top of your pubic bone in the front of your pelvis. And you're just going to imagine yourself walking around the rim of your bowl, sweeping into the middle all that no longer serves you. Remember that your bowl is a storage house for all your unprocessed emotions, traumas, and events that have happened to you in your life. And so we are just inviting all that's willing to be released to sweep out into the middle and let it fall down between your legs and down into the earth. And if some of my clients in doing this felt a broom was too harsh, so they use a rag, or you can, be creative. Use whatever feels right for you. Oh, I'm sorry, Kendra. I was just reading your. Kendra, there will be you can go back to the replay and catch that first 20 minutes that you missed. Sorry about that. So back to the sweeping exercise. You're going to start in your pubic bone. You're going to walk around clockwise and just start sweeping into the middle, all that no longer serves you. And as you're walking around, if you get to an area that's a little resistant, just stay an extra moment or two there and just let it know that you know it's there. Don't force it to release. Don't force anything to do anything. We're just going to observe and become aware of it. And as you're walking around, just continue on and just work your way around to the front again. And just kind of make a mental note of where you felt some stickiness or some resistance in there. And then as you get back to the front, I just invite you to take a deep breath and just release. And then recheck back in with your pelvic space. What do you notice? Is there a difference? A lot of women state that it feels lighter. It feels more clear in there. And that's really what we want. We don't want to be hanging on to all this stuff that doesn't serve us anymore. This can really help you have greater clarity and ability to connect into this area. So I encourage you, do this exercise every day and several times a day if you need to, if you're having a really bad day. So let's take a look at secret number 2. Your feminine essence needs to be awakened. And while the bowl is your foundation of your business, your feminine essence can be cultivated by working with your ovaries and your uterus. So your ovaries show you how you are showing up in your business. We have a left and right ovary, and the left ovary and the left side of our body represents our feminine energy, and the right side of our body and our right ovary represents the masculine energy. So our ovaries can either be, what we want our ovaries to be like is like a plump, juicy grape. And those grapes are allowing energy to come in and allowing energy to come out. And so that's what we really want. A lot of times what we find our ovaries to be doing, and I just invite you as I'm talking to just kind of breathe down into your pelvic space and just sense your ovaries. They sit right in between those little bumps on either side of your pelvis and your pubic bone, right in that groin area. They're pretty low. And so those ovaries, they can either be plump, juicy grapes, which is what we want, or they can be shriveled raisins because they're not allowing energy in. Their energy is blocked. Or they can be overextended and they're overdoing it and they're not filled up. So they're empty on the inside and they're just overextended. So with this, how your ovaries are showing up, what's a very common pattern for most women is that because we're such nurturers and we take care of other people, we tend to have an overextended left ovary. And that means we can't take in and receive and really nurture ourselves. And that's our receiving ability. I had one client who I worked with who was a business coach. And she was struggling in her business, although I don't think she really wanted to admit that. But when we worked together, her left ovary, she won the award for the most overextended left ovary. Her energy was just so out there that she had nothing able to come in to herself. And she was a mother of 7 daughters, and her daughters are all grown now. So now she's a grandma as well. And she's a wonderful mother who really took care of her kiddos and grandkids at the expense of herself, which is so typical of moms. So she had no ability to bring in and receive any nurturing for herself. So there's no energy flowing into her left ovary or into the left side of her pelvic space. This is your receiving side. We want that energy flowing on this left side. And we worked on this, but she didn't choose to continue to do any deeper work with this. And she just felt she could do it all on her own. And she didn't say yes to herself by taking care of herself and really getting the support and the nurturing that she needed from someone else. She felt she could just do it all on her own. And what I've noticed in my business is that we attract to us who we are. So if you aren't saying yes to working on you, it's much harder for your clients to say yes to working with you as well. So she was having issues with people really stepping up and paying her for her work. So her business wasn't thriving. And she actually had to start going back to a business that she was doing previously to supplement her income because she wasn't able to make it in her coaching business. And it's so sad because she has such gifts to share with her work. And what I have found in my own business and in my life is that the more I say yes to myself and really stretch myself to do things in a bigger way, the more my clients are able to say yes to working with me. And so, and I find, and maybe you find this as well, that the more I work on my issues, the more I attract people who have the same issues that I can then help them with. So it's really important for us to open up our ability to receive and bring energy into this left side so that we can say yes to ourselves. And one of the ways you can open up this energy on that left side is to just breathe down into your left side of your pelvis. Breathe down into that left ovary and just use that visualization and that intention to be open to receiving. And we don't have enough time to go into it because I really want to keep this under an hour on how to shift maybe some imprints or the beliefs that might be blocking your ability to receive. But we do cover that in more detail in my Rich and Radiant program. And I have a very simple, easy way to shift your limiting beliefs that might be stopping you from being able to receive more. So, I have worked with other women, though, who have been able to open up this left side and rebalance their ovarian energy so that they are able to open up to receive more. And then their businesses thrive. The two women that you saw pictures of, they were prime examples of that. So ideally, in our ovarian energies, we want to have a left energy that is open to receiving and bringing energy in, and then allowing the energy to transfer over to that right side so that we can put our work out into the world. So the right side is has the energy and has some sustenance to put that energy of our work out into the world. We want a balance of our energy, and so many times our ovaries are not talking or helping or supporting each other out, and that's really what we need. So when we have these patterns of imbalances, we tend to overgive from an empty well. And this can lead to burnout, to resentment, to being unhappy in your business, and you have less vibrancy within. Your radiance really dims when you're imbalanced in the energy of your pelvic space. So when your ovaries are supported with energy flowing in and out, you can find a much greater balance in your ability to take care of yourself and to be able to do your work in a way that is more sustainable so you don't burn out and you can really shine brightly in your life and your work. Now, the next organ we need to look at is your uterus. And I hope by the end of the seminar, you realize that your uterus is it should mean more to you than just from where babies come from and where we bleed from each month. Because this uterus is such a magical, special place in us. It is a spiritual gateway. The uterus is what allows souls to come into the world. And I had never thought about this until I started doing this work, and it has really transformed my life. Think about the power that is in this uterus. It takes 2 cells and it grows a baby. So imagine the transformative energy that this uterus has within its walls. And this uterus is also our creative center. So whether you are beyond your childbearing years, or you may have had a hysterectomy, it doesn't matter. The energy of those organs are still within your pelvic space. You can still access them. And so whether you're still in that baby bearing years or you're beyond that, this uterus is still our creative center. And whether you're having a menstrual cycle or not, our uterus still has this cycle of holding energy and releasing energy. And if you are in menopause, that cycle of energy can be connected to the moon cycle. And so it's so important for us to have a period of release where we let go of all that's no longer serving us. It really is kind of like a spiritual cleansing when we have our periods. And I know especially in the US, we have such a disdain for our menstrual cycle and that flowing. We feel as it's a bother. And what I'm here to share with you is that you can reframe that and look at that as an opportunity for you to release all that no longer serves you. But what happens for a lot of women is that they have either excessive holding patterns where they can't let go of their projects or of their work and put it out there, whether it's because they want to make sure it's perfect, so they're constantly fiddling with it and they can't release it out into the world. Or maybe they're afraid they're going to get judged or have some negative recourse if they put their work out in the world. But holding on to this energy does nobody any service. We really need to allow to get our work out into the world. And so working with allowing this energy to release is so important. And then we also have the problem of excessive releasing energy. And what happens for these women is that they let go of their power. They allow other people to take over their work and claim it as their own. So what happens with that excessive releasing energy is that you don't contain and hold your creative center so that you are claiming your power in your work. And so in my Rich and Radiant program, we really work closely with your pelvic space and your ovaries and your uterus so that you can fully access the vibrancy and the potential of the energy that's there so you can increase your radiance and truly shine in your life and business and get your work out into the world in a balanced and sustainable way. I had one woman that I worked with who she was having a hard time getting her work out there into the world and building her practice because she was busy enough, but yet she knew she needed to make more money, but she didn't know how she was going to do that because she was already feeling burnt out and overwhelmed with what she had going on. When we tapped into her pelvis, we found that her pelvis was tipped with the right side way up in the air and the left side was really low. And the left side felt really, really heavy to her. And as we tapped into this energy on that left side, we found out that she was really carrying the burden of whether or not her clients got better or not. She was taking that on herself. Instead of allowing her clients to take responsibility for that, she was holding that responsibility herself. And so it was so heavy for her. So no wonder she didn't want to put any more work out into the world. And so we were able to help shift that and release that and balance out the energy in her pelvis. And so now she's able to put her work out in the world in a easier way, and it's flowing more. And so she's now able to make more money, and she's not heading into burnout. So she's learned how to let go of that and brought more balance back into her pelvis, and it brought more joy and into her work. So the uterus is also your truth detector. You can place any and all of your concerns in your uterus and see what response you get in your body. I was sitting next to a woman at a conference, and the speaker had made a pretty big offer to join her year-long mastermind. And it was a huge financial investment. And this gal I was sitting next to, I could just feel the wheels in her head just spinning. And she was like, she was almost antsy in her seat because she couldn't, she was trying to make up this decision on whether or not she should do this or not. And so I just I just said, it looks like you're really having a hard time with this. Would you like some help? Can I share my work with you? And she's like, please. And so I asked her to just imagine her doing this mastermind and putting it in her womb space and seeing what happened in her body. And as she did that, her entire lower body relaxed and the energy just flowed down her root chakra. And then I asked her to think about not doing the mastermind and what was the response in her body. And she said everything just shriveled up and got tight in her pelvic space. And I go, well, there you go. There's your answer. And she was just, she was in tears. She was just so grateful to know her truth and to know that that's what she needed to do. So I invite you to use your uterus as your truth center and put your decisions and put your, what's going on in your life in your womb space and see what happens for you. And it's so much easier to access this truth center and get clear in there when you have a cleared pelvic space. So make sure you're doing your pelvic sweeping exercises as well. So let's move on to the third secret here. Your blocks to your success lie in your imprints. Now we have imprints from our time in the womb, our birth, also our childhood, and also any ancestral imprints. We are carrying those around as well. The great thing is that you can clear out these imprints so they don't have as much impact on your life, because these imprints really go deeper than your subconscious, unconscious beliefs that we feel are running our life. And I teach in my program how to release the impact from your time in the womb and birth and how these may be affecting you today. Remember my story of how I was born and how I had one foot on the gas and the other on the brake. And as I was able to release that imprint, I've been able to show up so much more out into the world and taking my work to the whole next level. And I'm just amazed at how imprints show up in all my clients too, and how those imprints are playing out in their lives. I really find it fascinating. And so it doesn't matter if you can't remember anything from the time in the womb or anything about your birth, whether your mom's alive or not, to find anything out. It really doesn't matter, because those imprints are in your cells. Remember, there's cellular memory. And so I didn't know how I came out, and my knee just started automatically drawing up and in as I tuned into my birth. So it is very possible for you to work with your imprints and your time in the womb, whether you have conscious memory of it or not. So depending on how your time in the womb was, what it was like, it can really hide your true self, and it can really dim your light, because what you took on from your mom in the womb, it can really limit your radiance. What they're finding now is that that babies are so conscious when they are in the womb, and that they're swimming in the soup of mom's experiences. And so depending on what your mom was going through when she was pregnant with you, you've taken all that on. That has set your nervous system to be able to survive in her world. And so if a very common imprint I find in the women that I work with is that if your mom did not feel like she was okay, like maybe her health was suffering, or she was stressed, or she wasn't in a good relationship with your dad, those all impact or make you feel that mom's not okay. And what happens is that if mom doesn't feel okay to you, your survival depends on mom's survival. So as a baby in that womb, you are giving all of your energy to your mom to help her to survive, so you survive. And with mom being your world, you have that energy outflow. When you get born, you still are in that mode of feeling you have to save the world. So women who have this imprint feel like they have to help everybody, and they want to take responsibility for everybody, and it really doesn't serve you or them as well. So shifting this imprint can really help you to come back home to you and take on your responsibility and no one else's. And this really is your time in the womb could really be a place where you have learned to dim your light. And so in my program, there's many other imprints during your time in the womb and your birth, and how that impacts you, that we work on to clear so that you can really come out. Remember Linda, who made the $75,000 a year? Her dad wanted her to be a boy. And in the womb, she felt that and really turned off her entire feminine energy. It's like just went to sleep. And In fact, when we were working with her birth, as she was coming out, she felt like there was this resistance on her whole left side of her body, like it was skid marks, like didn't want to come out. And as we release that and let go of that resistance, she's been able to embrace her feminine energy more powerfully in her life. Because she was resisting, because she had that imprint of resistance of that feminine energy coming out in her birth, if she had not released that imprint, she would have found it much more challenging to embrace her feminine energy in her life. And so releasing that imprint allowed her to fully embody and embrace her feminine energy, and then she was able to bring more balance to her work. So it's so important that we clear these imprints so that we're not having to struggle in our life anymore with these things that are really holding us back. So we also have imprints from our childhood, and then we also carry ancestral imprints as well. And so you can think back to possibly see a pattern in your mom, your grandmother, your great-grandmother, and a lot of patterns tend to fall around our issues around money. And so in my program, I have a way of working on releasing these ancestral patterns and imprints in a way that allows us to show up as we want to be. Because when we have these imprints, it can really prevent us from accessing our true potential and how we want to show up in the world. Instead of having the life that you really want to live, you're living out the patterns from your past and the past of the generations before you. So until you release these patterns, they continue to influence your behaviors and your actions. And so now I'd like to talk a little bit about this idea of rich. Now, when I say rich, I'm sure the first thing that comes to mind is money. Everybody equates richness with money. And while that is so true, there's so much more to having a rich life. And in order to be rich with money or with anything else, it really comes down to the connection that we have with ourselves and really opening up our hearts to more love. And that love needs to start with loving ourselves. And we can do that so much better when we're more connected and we're releasing the hurts and the imprints and the things that have happened to us in our past that we're holding on to in our pelvic space. And so money, or lack thereof in our life, is really just a symptom. We've got to be able to heal ourselves first, and then the money can come in. In my last program, in the very first week of just learning how to connect into your pelvic space and clear it out, one woman had an increase in her salary, and she cleared up an issue that she had with her older children that really saved her a lot of money, all in the first week. So when you connect into this pelvic space and you access all that it has to offer, there's so much more in there than we can really touch in on in our time today. And I'm running out of time here. So I want to help you to know that when you do this work and you connect into your pelvic space, you can really find a life where you show up more real as you. And you find your inspiration. You find what makes you inspired. And you're more connected to yourself and to everybody else. And you are more connected into your heart. And so people really feel that when you're talking about your work. When you're connected into your heart and you're coming from a heartfelt place, when you have all four of these things, hopefully that leads you to greater happiness. And as my clients have all found out, it's definitely helped them led them to greater wealth as well. So today on this call, I want you to remember that we're on this call because you know you have some blocks to getting you more money and getting to the next level of success in your business. And so today we've talked about how your pelvic space is the foundation of your business and how it's also a storage house for all your unprocessed emotions and events and traumas and things that have happened to you in your life. And when you can clear that out, it can help increase your clarity, help you hold more money, more clients, and success in your business. And your ovaries, we've talked about how they show up, how they help you show up I'm sorry, your ovaries help you to see how you are showing up in the world, and how balancing out their energies can really bring you greater ease and flow and joy and help you avoid burning out. And then your uterus is so powerful, and you can harness this energy to transform what's limiting you. And it can also help you find your truth and really claim the value of what you bring to your work. And then we've also talked about the imprints and how you may be holding back by limiting your ability, how these imprints really limit your ability to show up more powerfully as you. And so what I feel what you need for success is that you really need a greater connection to your power center, and that power center is your pelvis. And you also need to access and awaken that inner radiance that helps you to attract the right attention to you and the clients to you. And you also need to really work on clearing the emotional garbage and the imprints that are getting in your way. And then we also need to work on having a better relationship with yourself and your money. So whatever you showed up wanting today, I hope you got this one thing, that your connection to yourself and this magical space of your pelvis really is the foundation for your success in your business. And so what would it mean for you to really be able to eliminate the blocks that are holding you back from greater success, from greater money, from having a greater impact with your work? What would it mean for you if you were to really connect into your truth detector to know the right direction for your business? And what would it mean if you were able to claim this power center and really own greater success for you? If you had all of that, what would your next 30 days be like? Where would you be able to take your business if you had all of that? So what would happen to you if you were really able to put yourself out there in a much bigger way, attracting to you the perfect clients you just love working with, and doing so in a powerful way that creates greater balance, fun, and joy in your work? What would that do for you if you had that? So I guess the better question is, what is it costing you not to have this, to not claim your power and to take your business to the next level? Because I do know one thing, if you continue to do the same thing over and over again, you're going to get the same results. And we need to do something. And so what I see is that the choice is yours here. I hope I've given you some wonderful information here that you can choose to either continue on and work on this on your own and see what you can do on your own. Or if you're really wanting to fully claim your power and change your relationship with money and have more success in your business, then here's what I have for you. But before we go there, I just want you to know, I'm going to take you to another screen. But before we do that, I want you to know that we are going to come back to this PowerPoint because I want to share with you the number one reason or way you can access your radiance anytime, any place. So no, we are coming back to here. And so I invite you on the right-hand side of your screen is a yellow button that I invite you to click, because I would like to offer you a free session, a time to talk with me and to really see where you might be holding yourself back in your business. So go ahead and click on that yellow button. It's going to take us to a new page. And so if you really truly are tired of not having enough money and not attracting the right clients, and you really dream of having a happier, healthier relationship with money and clients easily flowing to you, and you want that inner glow, that special inner glow to attract the right tension to you and have more balance, ease, and grace in your life and business, then I'd like to help you get started by offering you a complimentary Rich and Radiant strategy session. Go ahead and scroll on down onto that page and know that when we get together, we're going to identify what's really holding you back from greater success in your business. And I'm going to offer you a personal energy reading to make my professional recommendations on what you need next to release the blocks to your richness and radiance, and how to activate your feminine power to claim your value and your work, and how you need to open up your receiving channels, what you need to do so you can open those up, and really what you need to get yourself to the next level. So the intention of this discovery session is to really help you clarify what's holding yourself back and identify specific steps to help you get to the next level of success and let your inner radiance really shine in your business. So please only apply if you're 100% committed to growing yourself and your business and are serious about doing what it takes now. I only have a limited number of these spots. My schedule is crazy busy these days, and I've opened up 12 seats. And I'm also doing Facebook ads, so those seats are getting filled up in another way as well. So if you are interested in having a conversation with me and seeing where you might be blocked, please fill in your name and email and phone number in case, so I can call you to set up your appointment. So know that when you click that yellow button, apply now, you'll be taken to a questionnaire page. And I invite you to just hold off on filling out that questionnaire until after you've learned the #1 way to access your radiance. So please know that I would love to help support you in getting your work out there in a much bigger way and doing it in a way that leaves you balanced and sustainable so that you can continue to do the work that you love, and those clients that are meant to work with you get the benefits of all of you, and you're not holding yourself back. So thank you so much for joining me on this page. And if you're interested, put your name and email and phone number in there and click that yellow button. And I invite you to join me back onto the other page, back to our hangout here. And I want to share with you the #1 way to access your radiance anytime, any place. And I'm sure you've heard it throughout this webinar that it really comes down to you connecting into your pelvis. And there's a couple of things that you can do that can really intensify your radiance. And the first thing I like to do before I walk into any networking event or anytime I'm going to be talking about my business to anyone, or I'm going to be on stage making a presentation or a talk, I really breathe down into my pelvic space. And then I like to do an infinity figure 8 motion to help mix the masculine and feminine energies so that I know that those are flowing back and forth. And then once I have that infinity sign, I do a little pelvic rocking, just a little tilting of my pelvis. So I tuck my bottom under and then I stick my bottom out. You can imagine taking your pelvic bone up and then lowering it down and doing it very slow and very gently. And it's almost like fanning a flame with a billow. With that rocking back and forth, you are activating this energy in your pelvic space, and you're activating that feminine energy that allows this area, this energy to just radiate out from you. And so when you are breathing down into your pelvic space and you stay connected to that space, as you walk into that room, you will have a glow and a radiance that people will it'll make them turn their head and look at you. So I want to thank you all very much. I hope you can put this into practice and really see a difference in how you're showing up in the world. And thank you so much for your time on the webinar today. And please feel free to fill out a Rich and Radiant discovery session, fill out the questionnaire, and I will get in touch with you and we will set up our time together and see how I can help assist you to be more rich and radiant in your life and in your business. Thank you all very much for joining me. What? It's not here. Are you guys not seeing the button? Oh, goodness. So there was a yellow button on the left-hand side. Are you guys still not seeing it? Top-in offers, offer displayed. All right, well, I will email it to you guys so that you can fill it out. Annette and Andrea. Well, I will, if you're still live on here, I will make sure, I will email you all that have attended this, the discovery page opt-in form. But I am seeing a yellow button on my right-hand side of my screen, and so I'm not sure why you guys aren't. So I can't keep the yellow button up there and continue on and chat at the same time. So it's still not there. Oh, that's too funny. Okay, well, just know that if you're on this, I will send you the email to the link and we will get you hooked up that way. Okay, I'm sorry, it's showing up on my screen, so I don't know why it's not showing up on yours. So let's see if I remove it, and it says it's public. So the yellow button is now on the right-hand side of the screen. Are you guys able to see it at all? Yeah. All right, well, I will just email you guys because I don't know why the yellow button's not popping up because it is there right now. It should be there. So if you can see it, go ahead and click on it and that'll lead you to another page. And if not, I will email it and make sure all of you get it. Okay? So thank you very much, everybody. Take care.